Was wrong with Adrian Broner post-fight saying he won that fight against Pacquiao? Hell no, he did not. He did not win that fight. Pacquiao was all over him.
We don't have our own house. We don't have land. We don't have even food. We just, we have to work every day to make money to buy food.
What happens when some of the greatest warriors ever to enter a boxing ring all agree on one thing? And what if that one thing is a name, a force of nature, a hurricane in human form, Manny Pacquiao? When legends speak, the world listens. And when they can't stop talking about how terrifyingly good Manny Pacquiao was in his prime, you know you're dealing with something far bigger than just a good fighter. You're dealing with a phenomenon, a fighter who punched through weight classes like they were paper and danced around opponents like a tornado in sneakers.
That's Manny P. That's
extremely moving.
Yes, We're moved.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
Let's face it, boxing has seen some greats. But when the gloves are hung up and the punches have stopped flying, what truly remains are the stories, the gasps, the awe, the disbelief. And Manny Pacquiao is at the center of many of those tales. From shocking legends into silence to making world champions look like amateurs, Pacquiao didn't just fight, he performed miracles. The kind that left even the cockiest pros wiping sweat from their brows in relief. Thankful. They never had to face him in his prime. Ricky Hatton was one of the brave few who stepped into the fire, and boy did he get scorched. Here was a guy who had already fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. and lived to tell the tale, barely. But when he squared up with Manny Pacquiao, it was like watching a man run headfirst into a buzzsaw. Hatton, who prides himself on toughness, couldn't hide the truth. Manny's speed wasn't just fast. It was unfair, a blur of destruction like fighting, someone who didn't believe in the laws of physics. And yet the story doesn't begin or end with Hatton. It's a tale of broken strategies, battered egos, and champions forced to admit that yes, they too fell under the spell of the Pac-Man. Floyd Mayweather, known for his ego as much as his defense, gave Manny his flowers, not in press conferences or when the cameras demanded it, but in those rare moments when the truth leaks through a smirk. Mayweather didn't just survive Manny, he escaped him. That's right, escaped.
Thoroughly beat decision-wise on that fight. I don't know what he was talking about when he said everybody knows he won the fight. Adrian Broner did not win that fight. And by the way, Jim Gray pointed out accurately, he averaged less than 8 punches around. What did I say when I interviewed him last week, huh, Jim? I said, they say you don't throw punches, man. He said it ain't about how many, it's about the right time.
But let's not skip ahead because every champion Pacquiao faced brought something different to the ring, and each of them walked away changed, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So buckle up because this isn't just a stroll through boxing history. This is a no-holds-barred confession session from the biggest names in boxing, all testifying under the bright lights about the unrelenting force that was, and still is, Manny Pacquiao.
Congratulations. This is a beautiful gym. I hope that there's a lot of people will inspire to train here. Thank you. Congrats. Mike. Congrats. Congratulations.
Thanks, bro.
Yes, beautiful. I'm here to support you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, bro.
Oscar. De La Hoya found out the hard way. The golden boy, once untouchable, walked into that fight with Manny with the air of a man who had seen it all. But he hadn't seen Manny. Not like that. De La Hoya entered the ring with pride, history, and championships. He left it questioning everything. Every punch Manny threw wasn't just fast, it was surgical. De La Hoya couldn't breathe, couldn't move, and then, like a tragic Shakespearean hero, admitted something no fighter should ever have to say. He knew it was over before it started. That fight wasn't just a loss, it was an exorcism. Pacquiao didn't just beat De La Hoya, he purged him from relevance. You know the great thing about Manny? He didn't just beat you with fists. He beat you with movement. He beat you with rhythm. He turned every match into a symphony and every opponent into a guest conductor being led off a cliff. Floyd Mayweather, the untouchable maestro of defense, admitted that Manny was probably the best he'd ever faced. That's no small compliment from a man who could dodge bullets with shoulder rolls. But even Floyd couldn't deny that Pacquiao's angles, his footwork, his combinations, it all came together like jazz. Brutal, beautiful jazz.
Kind of shocked me because Pacquiao tends to lead with his head, which is how Marquez got him in that third fight.
Correct. Correct.
But he was quicker.
He was quick. He was quicker. He was predictably more aggressive. He connected more. That 8th and 9th round, he was all over Adrian Broner. All over him.
And then there's Joshua Clottey. Here's a man who, for reasons unknown, decided to walk into the storm with an umbrella made of ego. He didn't just lose. He folded like cheap origami. Years later, Clottey practically admitted what fans suspected. He never stood a chance. He was underpaid, underprepared, and outclassed. He couldn't even find the will to throw. Manny's punches came in flurries like machine gun fire from every direction, and Clottey's only goal became survival. But Manny didn't just humble champions. He made them rethink their careers. Keith Thurman came in hot, full of bravado, calling himself the new king of the welterweights. But Manny was 40 years old, and he treated Thurman like a sparring dummy. One knockdown, then another. And while Thurman showed heart, he couldn't do what most of Manny's opponents couldn't either: solve the puzzle. Pacquiao's speed, his timing, that violent left hand. By the time you figured out how to react, he'd already moved 3 steps ahead.
Case for greatest fighter, pound for pound, who ever lived. Think about, by the way, I don't think he wins that argument. Sugar Ray Robinson is safely ensconced in that position. But Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, Harry Greb, Sam Langford, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, whoever else you want.
Even broadcasters couldn't keep neutral. Max Kellerman, a man who's made a career out of talking logic and stats, nearly exploded with admiration, trying to describe how utterly ridiculous Manny's rise was, from flyweight all the way up to welterweight, winning lineal championships along the way. That's like a chess player winning world titles with every piece on the board. Nobody had done it before. Nobody's done it since. And odds are, nobody ever will. When Robert Garcia, one of the sharpest minds in boxing, compared Pacquiao's 8-division feat to Mayweather's undefeated record, he didn't even flinch. The undefeated record, impressive, sure, but anyone with a good promoter and a padded resume could get there. 8 divisions, though, that's a gladiator's resume. That's not picking fights. That's fighting everyone, anyone, anywhere, and still walking. Out with your arms raised.
Because I'm sure mentally you prepared as well as physically prepared, Shane, but you know.
They have shuttles. Yeah, they have shuttles, bro. Just in case.
Shane.
No, Shane took everything.
With Pacquiao.
Get in there.
I remember one thing. I remember him wrapping his hands. Pacquiao.
Because he wraps his own hands. I remember. Yeah.
And he kept asking me.
Antonio Margarito learned the hard way what happens when you underestimate Pacquiao. He thought his size would matter, that being a bigger man meant something. But Manny made him look like a lumbering axe. Punch after punch, round after round, Pacquiao painted his face with leather. By the end of the fight, Margarito wasn't just beaten, he was medically rearranged. Bones shattered, spirit broken, and the idea of size advantage thrown out the window. Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, had no problem calling it like it is. According to him, Pacquiao wasn't just good, he was sensational, the kind of fighter who made you question reality. Because when you watched him fight, it was like watching someone who hacked the rules of boxing and rewrote the code. Even legendary promoter Bob Arum didn't hide his awe. He saw in Manny the same spirit he once saw in Muhammad Ali. Not just in the ring, but outside it. A force that transcended boxing. A personality that lifted nations and punched through politics. A man who, with nothing but fists and a smile, became a hero to millions.
See that fight. So Pacquiao's peak was just about as good as anyone in history. Now, I'd have favored Mayweather back then. He's the naturally larger fighter. And that's the point. When you talk about pound for pound, if a fighter moves up out of his natural weight class and can still compete with the best who ever did it, what does that mean about the quality of that fighter's prime, pound for pound?
Tim Bradley, who faced both Manny and Terrence Crawford, gave us a masterclass in insight. According to him, Manny wasn't just a fast starter. Pacquiao wasn't just power or speed. He was instinct, a living, breathing reflex machine. He didn't react. He anticipated. While you were throwing your first jab, Manny was landing his third. And let's not forget the subtle psychological warfare. Manny smiled at you, laughed, looked like a choir boy, but then he'd break your ribs with the same fist. That contradiction, the gentleman outside the ring, and the demon inside left opponents mentally disarmed. They couldn't hate him. And when you can't hate the guy pounding your face, it's a whole different kind of pain.
Nice to meet you, Ali.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
How
you.
was it?
Amazing.
Good,
Thank
good.
you for all the
enjoyed it?
hospitality.
Sorry I wasn't able to come and see you guys with everything that was going on.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you.
Let's rewind for a second. How often do boxing legends, notorious for guarding their egos like championship belts, collectively lower their shades, tip their hats, and say, "That guy? Yeah, that guy was built different." You'd think it was once in a generation. But here's the twist. Manny Pacquiao is that generation. Even trainers, grizzled veterans of the corner who've seen hundreds of fighters come and go like seasonal flukes, started acting like wide-eyed teenagers whenever Manny entered the gym. The sound of those mitts thudding under Pacquiao's gloves, that wasn't just training. That was jazz. That was chaos with a rhythm. They'd hear it and pause mid-sentence. Conversations about rent or politics would stop dead. Why? Because the Southpaw Symphony was in session.
Brandon Rios made Pacquiao look lightning fast. And then when he fought Tim, Manny looked fast, but not as fast. Now, but Tim's not necessarily known as a fast guy. I am. What's going to happen when he fights maybe fast? It's all relative. Speed is relative.
Did he just say he's faster than me? Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Opponents knew they were in trouble when their best punch connected flush and Pacquiao just smiled. You could clock him with an uppercut from Zeus himself, and Pacquiao would bounce on his toes like he just caught you, a whiff of adobo simmering nearby. You don't fight that kind of man, you just try to survive him. Let's not forget the commentators. These are professionals trained to maintain composure, but during a Pacquiao fight, even the most buttoned up announcers started sounding like fans in the bleachers. They'd lose track of the round, mispronounce names, shout over each other like kids fighting for the controller. And who could blame them? Watching Manny box was like trying to narrate a wildfire. Everything happened too fast, too dangerously, and too beautifully. And then there's the body movement. Pacquiao didn't just throw punches. He launched missiles with his whole body. His angles were so sharp they needed warning, signs. He didn't come straight at you. He zigzagged, darted, weaved like a hummingbird on an energy drink spree. If you blinked, he was behind you. Blink again, and he'd already tattooed your jaw with a 4-punch combo. Blink one more time, and you're staring up at the ring lights wondering if you just slipped on sweat or got hit by a comet.
You're known as a fast guy. It's like, what am I known for, kid? Like, really? Like, really? Fat? Oh, man. He gonna learn November 22nd, what fast is all about. Manny Pacquiao, lightning fast feet, reflexes, angles.
With all that ferocity, he had the face of a man who'd help you fix your flat tire and share a laugh afterward. That was part of the trick. Fighters came prepared to meet a demon in the ring, but instead they got humbled by a smiling tornado with calves made of industrial steel. Trainers tried to prepare for him. Oh, they tried. "We're going to train for his speed," they said. "We've got a southpaw strategy." But once that bell rang and Pacquiao started zipping around like a caffeine-infused pinball, all that prep work turned into warm-up exercises for a beatdown. Some fighters even tried trash talk. Bad idea. Trash talk requires time to deliver. By the time they finished their first insult, Pacquiao had already hit them 4 times, switched stances, and winked at their coach. You don't insult the storm. You board up your windows and pray.
He is, good luck to him though, man. Good luck to him. He's faster than me? Really? Are you serious? Al-Juri's faster than me? Are you serious? Come on, man. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me, man. You're taller, but not faster.
In the history of boxing, very few have aged like fine wine in the ring. Most fighters start collecting damage like old cars collect rust. Not Manny. He adapted. He evolved. He became a smarter, deadlier version of his younger self. In his late 30s, he was outpacing guys 10 years younger and making it look casual. Not easy, casual. Now, some skeptics would say, well, he lost some fights. And yes, because he actually fought killers. While other boxers were padding records like overzealous accountants, Manny was saying, line him up. He didn't run from challenges. He ran into them face first, gloves swinging, heart thumping like a war drum. Pacquiao didn't duck. He dove. He faced men who had size, reach, youth, and the best science money could buy. And what did he bring? Heart, speed, a grin that said, "Try me." And when the dust cleared, most of those fighters were left blinking in disbelief, wondering how someone that cheerful just handed them a beating that would echo in their bones for years.
Damn hard. You might want to see every step of this to make sure, because you might think I have something as hard as that. But after he wrapped the hands, I held my hand up like this in my hand. I said, shit. Had I not seen him wrap that hand, I'd ask him to rewrap that damn thing.
Let's not even get started on his balance. Manny could be midair, throwing a left hook, pivoting his foot, dodging a jab, and still land with the grace of a gymnast. You can't teach that. That's divine programming. You either have it or you don't. And Pacquiao had it in surplus. He didn't box like he was trying to win rounds. He boxed like he was trying to break physics. The man made science cry. Trainers called it unorthodox. Fans called it miraculous. Opponents called it a blur. And historians started etching his name into granite before he even retired. When you look back at the legends, Ali, Tyson, Duran, Sugar Ray, you realize what they had in common. Unpredictability, charisma, violence hidden behind poetry. Manny had all of it, with one added feature, humility. He wasn't boxing to showboat. He was boxing because it was the only way his soul could scream. That's why legends praise him, because legends recognize each other by scars, not belts. And the ones who shared the ring with Manny left with stories and x-rays. And just when you thought he was done, that he'd fade into retirement with a Senate seat and a halo, he'd return. He'd lace up again. Because for Manny Pacquiao, retirement wasn't an end. It was just intermission. The curtain hadn't fallen, it just paused to catch its breath. You can bet the 2024 comeback isn't just a publicity stunt. This is Manny's final stanza, his last page in the epic he's been writing with his fists. And trust this, he won't whisper the ending. He'll scream it with every punch. He'll make it unforgettable.
Had a way of ranking baseball players that I came across as a kid and thought, that's really smart. You have to rank them at their best and then also over the course of their careers. Because when you have that argument, are you talking about who accomplished the most or what heights did they reach? What peak did they reach? Take either for Pacquiao. Take his peak. Was it at 140 pounds when he obliterated Ricky Hatton, Miguel Cotto, and then Oscar De La Hoya, though that was at 147? Was that Pacquiao's peak? Because remember, that's when the Mayweather-Pacquiao hype actually reached fever pitch.
So for the skeptics out there saying that why come back? Because legends don't fade quietly. They leave echoes. And Manny Pacquiao is ready to echo one last time. This isn't nostalgia, it's unfinished business. One last symphony for the fans. One last storm for the ring. One last hurricane with gloves. So whether you've watched every fight since the flyweight days or just stumbled across this channel, make no mistake. What we're witnessing is historic. A man whose fists wrote chapters in boxing lore is picking up the pen again. And when he steps through those ropes, it won't just be another match, it will be a moment. A moment you'll want to remember. A moment you'll tell your grandkids about. A moment when time stood still and Manny Pacquiao started dancing again. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the madness. Like the video if you're ready for the comeback of the century, and comment your favorite Pacquiao moment below. We want to hear the war stories. History's not finished yet, and neither is Manny.